Today on The Explainer, we're cracking the code on a skill that's absolutely foundational to success in, well, pretty much every part of your life: effective communication.
Okay, let's just jump right in. We've all been there, right? You say something that seems perfectly clear in your head, but it just doesn't land the way you meant it to. And suddenly you're dealing with frustration, confusion, or maybe even a full-blown conflict. But you know what? Here's the good news. Being a great communicator isn't some kind of magic talent you're either born with or you're not. Nope, it's a skill. And just like any other skill, you can learn it, you can practice it, and you can master it. And today, we're handing you the blueprint.
All right, let's start at the beginning with the absolute essentials. These are the first three facets that really form the bedrock of how we communicate successfully.
So, facet number 1 is all about being sharp and getting right to the point. It's about cutting through all the noise and making sure your message is received exactly the way you intend it, with zero room for confusion.
And wow, this is a perfect example of its power. Just look at the difference here. Using the active voice and just chopping out those extra fluffy words makes the message on the right so much more direct and energetic. It just hits harder, you know?
So, how do you get this clear? Well, always take just a beat to organize your thoughts before you start talking or typing. Try to use simple language and then lead with your main point. Think of it like a newspaper headline. All the details can come after that.
Next up is a skill that is so important, but honestly, it's often overlooked. We're talking about active listening. And this isn't just about staying quiet while someone else talks. It's about listening to truly understand, not just the words, but the feelings and the real meaning behind them.
The key here is to really show you're locked in. Put your phone away, and when they pause, try summarizing what you heard. You could say something like, okay, so what I'm hearing is, and pay just as much attention to their body language as you do to their words.
And that leads us perfectly into our third core skill, understanding that silent conversation that's always happening. Your body is talking constantly, whether you mean for it to or not.
What's so powerful about this slide is that it shows how our nonverbals can totally contradict our words. The mouth is saying, yes, I'm open, but the body is practically screaming, no way. And that mismatch, that's where trust starts to erode.
So, mastering your nonverbals really means being intentional. It means making appropriate eye contact, making sure your tone of voice actually fits your message, and keeping an open posture. It's also about learning to read these signals in other people to get what's really being said.
Okay, so we've got the core skills down. Now, let's take it up a notch. This next part is all about using communication to build real, genuine human connections.
This is where we go way beyond just swapping facts. This is about tuning into the, let's call it the emotional frequency of a conversation. Being able to recognize and respect feelings is absolutely crucial if you want to build real trust.
Here's a super simple but incredibly powerful way to practice this. Validate someone's feelings before you jump in with a solution. Just a simple phrase like, wow, I can see this is really frustrating for you, can completely change the vibe of a conversation.
The fifth facet. This one is all about finding that perfect balance, right? You don't want to be a doormat, but you also don't want to be a bulldozer. It's having the confidence to stand up for your ideas, but doing it in a way that always respects the other person.
One of the best ways to do this is by using I statements. So instead of saying, you're wrong, you could try, I see it a little differently. If you combine that with a confident posture and a steady tone, you come across as both firm and respectful. It's a game changer.
All right, we're heading into the home stretch. These last two facets, this is what really separates the good communicators from the truly great ones.
Here's the thing about truly great communicators. They know that their message is not one size fits all. They're like chameleons, you know? They can skillfully shift their approach, their language, and their examples based on exactly who they're talking to.
I mean, just think about it. You're not going to explain how Wi-Fi works to a 10-year-old the same way you would to a network engineer, right? You'd change your words, your tone, your analogies. That's adaptability in action.
And finally, our seventh and final critical facet. This is the one that ties everything together. It's all about committing to constant growth by both giving and receiving feedback. Not seeing it as criticism, but as a gift that helps everyone get better.
And check this out. This is an amazing tool to help you give feedback that is super clear, objective, and actually helpful. The situation behavior impact model takes all the guesswork and personal feelings out of it. It just focuses on what happened and what the result was.
Phew, okay, we have covered a ton of ground, from the core mechanics all the way to advanced techniques. So the only thing left to do now is figure out how to turn all this knowledge into real-world action.
So I want you to take just a second, right now. Think about these 7 skills we just talked about. Which one are you already pretty good at? And which one gives you the biggest opportunity to get better right now? Because look, the journey to becoming a master communicator doesn't start with trying to learn everything all at once. It starts with focusing on one thing, taking that first single step and just practicing it. So what's yours going to be?